I saw the tweets. I saw the reaction from PJ Washington and Max Christie. So if you missed it, the Mavericks played the Sixers the other night at home while PJ Washington.
It was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes. PJ Washington shooting a free. Every day feels like a blur when you're off. PJ Washington shooting a free throw. And instead of hearing, let's go Mavericks, I love you guys, he hears bump Nico.
Yeah. Fire Nico. Among other things.
And a lot of people on Twitter are saying it's just one guy. And I think we know who the one guy is. The guy who's made his whole personality.
This dude has.
Because I've seen videos he's posted where he's yelling. And it's like, my initial reaction when I saw PJ, and I'm going to summarize because for the most part he's saying, we don't want to hear that. It is what it is. We got to still play the game.
He yelled at him in between free throws.
Yeah, we're professionals. Like, we just got to go out there and play the game. We wish the fans would respect that and move on for the most part. I'm summarizing.
Paraphrasing.
I think that's a little tone deaf. I'm not saying that he's not. I'll say this, but I'll get this out of the way. He is fair for feeling like I didn't do this to the team, but I'm being punished for it by you heckling us during the game. That part is fair, and that's where I'm going to put it at. That's the last part I'm going to say about it being fair on the player side. One, you were an NBA player. I'm sure there has been way worse things shouted at you during the game, probably in his high school days. So a fan.
I mean, he went to Kentucky, so you know he heard all
college, high school
of stuff.
So in the pros, we're getting paid millions of dollars. A fan saying, I don't like what the GM did by chanting fire Nico or bump Nico is affecting you that much where y'all cannot play well. Now, is there a great home court advantage for the Mavericks right now? No. And do the players who didn't make the trade have to deal with those consequences? Yes. But that's also the part of you getting paid millions of dollars. You have to go through some ups and downs. How do you think the Sixers fans are feeling? Quentin Grimes didn't do anything but get traded there and ball out. I'm sure there's been their fair share of boos and their fair share of we don't like Joel Embiid and Paul George is overpaid, and they're probably chanting stuff as well. It's just part of the gig. Here's my second biggest gripe.
By the way, he's making $15.5 million this year.
Here's my second biggest gripe. PJ and Max have been on the team for what? 1.5 years if we added together? If we had both of their time together, 1.5 years? Actually, not even that long.
No, because you figure
a trade deadline of
right at a year for PJ and a month and 2 weeks.
And I'm really not like attacking them. I get it. They're just
month and a half for
PJ and Max, I'm not attacking them personally, just their comments don't have much of a base. It's more so.
I think Max really doesn't really care, I don't think, one way or the other. He just was sitting there.
Yes.
And you gotta ask him something.
They're not gonna ask about the game. So you lost again, and you're playing a team with 7 players.
This team sucks. By the way, what's this Fire Nico stuff all about? Let's talk about that.
So Max and PJ together have played a year and a month. Is their playing time with the Dallas Mavericks?
We'll call it 13 months just to be on the safe side.
I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
Maybe.
I don't know if 13 months speaks for a Dallas Mavericks fan base. I don't think that's enough time in a city to say, hey, guys, we feel this certain type of way, so y'all shouldn't feel this type of way. Now, if, say, Kyrie got traded, same scenario, Kyrie's the only one that gets traded. Fans are still going to be in uproar, and you get a bad deal. Throw an X player for him. You get a bad deal, you don't have the better player, Kyrie's balling wherever he's going. And Luka comes out and says, hey, guys, I think we should move on. Will they move on? Maybe not, but there's a lot more standing power. He's 1, your best player. That helps.
Oh, absolutely.
He's 2, he's been here 7 years. 3, you drafted him. So there's all these things to go into it where it's like, okay, maybe we're overreacting. I'm not saying everybody's going to listen to Luka in this example, but you're going to have more people listen.
I would say 98% of this fan base would.
And people love PJ. PJ is a fan favorite. So like I said, it's not like a personal attack on PJ Washington. It's just you've only been here a year. You don't speak for the fans when he's trying to make like this address to the state speech of like, hey guys, I'm tired of hearing bump Nico. We're trying to play a basketball game and we've got no home court advantage because fans are chanting this. I'm sorry, your GM and your owner are writing a check that you have to cash, and it is unfortunate. I get it, PJ. I get it, Max. You're trying your hardest. Max, I don't even know at this point. But you don't speak for the entire fan base, and if they want to be uproared, I think they have every right to. And like I said in the open, there's only like 1 or 2 people shouting this. It's not as if the entire stadium has on Fire Nico shirts and everyone's chanting. And even if they were, they have the right to do that. They are paying money. A lot of these people are season ticket holders. They're at the game that just got ripped from them, their whole team that now sucks. It's about to fall out of the play-in if the Suns would ever play basketball. We were suiting up like 7 guys a night.
Seriously.
And they feel a certain type of way. I'm sorry, PJ, that they're not happy about this team. I don't really know if he's expecting fans because he said this to now get over the trade. And I get it. There's probably somebody listening right now that's like, I'm already over the trade. I'm with PJ. Great. you don't speak for everyone either.
No.
I think there's a large portion of the fan base that is more like not going to listen to what PJ said just because he outspoke. I'm sure some people will turn, but PJ hasn't been here long enough to speak for the fans.
Well, he hasn't been, and it's funny you say that because I'm looking at some of the stuff on Twitter, and one of the other, we've got a Mavs fan here, says, why is PJ Washington's BS flapping his jibs about what he's sick of?
I said jibs.
B, you've been on this team for less than 2 years. I've been a fan for much longer. I get to say whatever the bleep I want to say. Grow a pair.
Okay, that was a little bit more of a
version. That's a definitely more vitriolic, aggressive version of what you just said. And then here's what PJ said yesterday at the podium after the game. At the end of the day, trades happen. We understand we have a new team. All that fire Nico stuff, sick and tired of hearing it. We just want to go out and play. The fans to support us no matter who's on the floor. And look, I don't blame him for what he's saying. And
like,
I'm with you.
There is validity to it. I'm not like
no, exactly. We're not casting aside what he's saying, and he has every right to say it. And again, PJ is kind of the de facto team leader
right now,
especially now that Kyrie's gone.
Correct.
Right. And even when Kyrie was out there, you could argue. And we saw this when the season started, he was kind of, we don't necessarily have quote unquote enforcers anymore in the NBA, but you had some toughness with him, with Najee, right? The Suns game comes to mind when they got into it with Vuricic or whatever the hell his name is, Vucevic or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing about this team that you liked. And oh, by the way, the things that, Nico pre-trade had built around Luka was that you had Luka and Kyrie, who were your go-to guys, and then you had the PJs, the Najees, the Gaffords, and then of course the Livelies of the world who filled up around him. And so to follow up what you're saying, I get it. You've got a frustrated player group who, as Dirk pointed out, this season's cursed. Mm-hmm. I mean, however you want to put it.
I've never seen so many players just go out.
I mean, this is unheard of.
There's, I think since the trade deadline they put it out, there's like a 18% chance every Mav game that you could have watched had a season-ending injury or some kind of injury. I don't know if it was season-ending, but some kind of injury.
No, 100%. I mean, it feels like every
other day there's like someone's out for the season, someone's out for 6 weeks, this guy's set back.
I mean, even when...
We've had three guys since Kyrie's been hurt or since... we had the Kyrie, then you had Exum and Omax, all within like 2 weeks of each other. You just lost 3 guys. And then
Hardy got hurt during that time as well. Powell runs into Kessler Edwards in the middle of a game. And then, of course, adding all the insult to injury is, the guy you traded for gets hurt in the very same game, and the guy you traded away, who you call the fat ass, has been one of the best players in the league.
And maybe even a trade that if we want to get off the Luka stuff for a minute, the Caleb Martin, Quentin Grimes trade looks worse and worse by the hour.
That was devastating. Because Quentin Grimes has played some of the best basketball he's played of his life since you traded him. Yep. And really, forget that. I mean, it really was just a continuation of what he was already doing. I mean, Quentin Grimes, and you and I talked about this in the summer, that Quentin Grimes was a guy we expected a lot out of, and you were getting a lot out of. I'm going to tell you right now, you were getting more out of Quentin Grimes than you've gotten out of Klay Thompson.
Yes.
Okay?
We were and
it's not even close. Like, it's not even a conversation. And again, not throwing any shade on our boy Klay, but I mean, Klay is what he is at the stage of his career.
And Grimes is your best POA defender. He could get up and down the court, help you on the defensive end.
He was your best addition in the offseason.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he was better than
right
Nod. I mean, I'll give him a little bit of a nod over Najee. But he was your best. He was the best guy you brought in.
If they both hit the open market tomorrow, Quentin Grimes would have a better market right now.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Not saying Najee wouldn't have one. It's just Quentin Grimes.
He would, for sure, because Najee's been good.
I think Jason Kidd played a little bit of a factor in the Grimes stuff, and this is just me speculating with, all the DNPs he got early in the season. I don't feel like maybe Kidd ever really grew on him. Not saying he didn't play well. He's like, man,
he kind of did. See, I would say, though, that after he DNP'd him, you saw a difference in Quentin Grimes after that, right? And he was starting to play a lot better, and then... And I'll tell you what, he stepped up when Luka got hurt. I mean, that was the one thing you could say about Quentin Grimes. I mean, he was solid during that 12 game. What, they won 11 out of 12 or something like that before Luka gets hurt at Christmas time. And then he played pretty well over the course of the next month. And then, of course, we all know what happened after that. So, again, it was just it's it's one more addition to what's been the most, and you can speak to this better than I can. It's definitely been the most dysfunctional year in the NBA and that's, look, think about this. For as dysfunctional as the Philadelphia 76ers have been, for as dysfunctional as the Phoenix Suns have been, you could almost say the Mavericks have been worse than both.
Yeah, it's been tough. The 817, I'll also talk about the other side of the coin. They bring up a good point. PJ's from Frisco, which he is. He grew up a fan, too. That gives him a little bit more weight behind his words. I agree. I'll give him that.
I won't disagree with that.
My main thing is just don't yell bleep out when the Mavs are shooting free throws. You can say that, but I think we're talking about it right now. It obviously worked to this fan's reasoning, if you will. PJ
but see, I don't even know
if
but think about it this way, though. Are we even talking about it if PJ doesn't say anything?
Probably not. It'd just be another version of fans yelling stuff, which just happen every game.
Which happens every game. I mean, he's not the first guy to yell bleep Nico during they're doing it at medieval times for crying outs. I mean,
doing
seriously.
it at FC Dallas games, Dallas Stars.
They did it at the Spurs game for crying out loud.
It's all in Texas.
It's not going anywhere.
So just, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe the people on the text line represent everyone that goes to Mavs games. Tired of hearing the complaining. PJ is right. And I'm not saying he's not, but I think the fans should also have a voice. I don't think you can just silence the fans and just say, well, PJ doesn't agree with it, so you shouldn't do this. Okay? It's not like the Mavs are going anywhere. The Mavs are not the 1 seed playing for anything.
No. I just think it's frustrating, too, when, again, you've seen no Anthony Davis.
Speaking of, let me touch on that. So Anthony Davis got recalled to the G League team earlier today. Him and Jaden Hardy.
They sent him to the G League.
Sent him to the G League, and that was for him to do a 5-on-5 practice with them. And then got recalled back to the team, so we're still kind of waiting on the ramp-up process. But that being said,
so they just sent him there for a scrimmage and then
sent him there for
back?
a scrimmage. Well, you have to assign him to the team to even compete in the scrimmage. It's a weird regulation thing. Like, yes, could he just go scrimmage and we not see a tweet about it? Yes, but they have to assign him to the Legends and then recall him back to the Mavs. Which to me, this is the same they did for Caleb Martin. He played one game and then he was available the next game.
Yeah.
I would say this. When did the Mavs play next tomorrow?
Wednesday.
I bet you Jaden Hardy's questionable in plays. I bet you, give me the Mavs schedule, because I bet you AD comes back. I don't think it's Wednesday.
So you've got, you're at the Pacers on Wednesday and then
Davis
you have the Pistons come to town on Friday.
Possibly. If we were to see Anthony Davis, I think that'd be the first game.
Then you have let's see here.
I'll say this while you're finding this. I do not think they should bring back Anthony Davis. They are ramping him up. He's doing 5-on-5 practice alongside with Jaden Hardy. And my reasoning is simple. I'm not going to go into some detailed reason. Y'all can text. I'll text y'all back if you want more in depth. Anthony Davis is not going to be at 100%. Say he comes back Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day you want to pick. He will not be 100%. I think we can all agree on that from the type of injury he sustained in his abdomen. I do not think in his adductor. I don't think he's going to step on the court. I'm 100%. No risk of injury. Let's ball out. Let's go fight for a playoff spot.
Especially when you consider the intensity you're gonna need him to play at.
He's gonna be easily the best player. He's gonna have PJ there next to him, hopefully. But there's a huge gap as far as like carrying the load. There's no Kyrie. There's no Clay dropping 25 when he comes back.
It's him.
Najee will probably the offense is gonna run through him.
You're gonna need 25 and 10 out of him.
25 is an understatement. I think you're gonna need 32 and 13 from him to. Because think about it, no, these other guys are contributing because there's no one else. When AD's on the court and he's commanding the ball, you're not going to get 25 from Najee, 25 from Brandon Williams, 25 from Clay. No. That's not happening.
No.
And so he's going to be at 70, 80%. Best case scenario, he ramps up and gets to 100% of the playoff time, and you lose in either the play-in or win one game against Oklahoma City. That's best case scenario. And I'm cutting it straight to all the Tolos.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, he comes back that first game and re-injures himself.
Again,
and now you're really, really doomed for the next year. And how does that offseason look? If Kyrie and AD don't work out a single time in the offseason and try to patch it together in one season together and make a finals run and win the finals. That's what you have to do. There's
it resets everything. You've got nothing. Is a first round and the exit worth it?
That's what it is. And this is one of the only years this year and next year where you have control over your draft pick.
So you're better off
you're incentivized to lose.
You really are.
And it's like I said, if AD had come back a month ago.
It's a different story.
And Kyrie never got hurt. Yeah, let's try it out. They're both out.
Let's get beat in the second round. You know?
Like, you can go get a draft pick, pair him up with Anthony Davis, Clay and Kyrie and try to use that Cowboys juice and like, hey, this team next year, selectively aggressive. We're going to be nice. Don't count us out. And you'll get some people on the bandwagon. Not me. No. I won't be tricked. But you'll get some people on the bandwagon. You go out this year and AD plays at 0.5% and you get bounced in the first round and you still don't get a lottery pick? What are you banking on?
I was going to say.
Kyrie and AD next year with no draft pick and them even more injured and hurt and older will be better.
It makes no sense. But I think I feel like they're
interesting.
I think they feel so stressed out and so kind of pressured by where the fan base is at that they almost have to do something. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, to check the temperature of this fan base, like it's 6-1, half a dozen to another. I mean, I think there's part of the fan base that's like, all right, great, let's see what we got. Then I think there's a bigger that just doesn't care.
Yeah, no, I would say contentment, not caring is probably the.
I think that's the overwhelming sentiment. Friday, March 21st, Mavericks are at home to the Pistons. All right, that'll be a loss. But this is where I think now I don't expect them to bring him back on a road trip. I really don't.
No, they won't.
And here's the deal: they're on the road for the next 9 days. They've got a 4-game road trip after that.
Pistons
at the Nets, at the Knicks, at the Magic, at the Bulls, and then they're home again on Monday, March 31st to the Nets.
That could be a game you could ease them back into.
So that's 9 games left in the season, correct?
Yeah. So how many games after that game you just mentioned until the end of the season? Because the Luka game's 2 games, only 2 games after that on the 9th.
You've got 1, 2, 3. That'll be the 4th game after that, and then you only got 2 games after that. So after that Nets Mavericks game, you got 6 games left.
So they bring him back with 7 games left,
so
and probably in the 11th spot by then.
I don't know. Would they be? I mean,
the Suns are a game and a half behind?
I think
the Suns
they're
are a game
and a half.
I think the Suns are a game and a half. I saw the thing today there because the Suns are at 25 games back and of the first place OKC. And meanwhile the Mavs are 23 and a half games back. So I think it's right at a game and a half.
Let the Suns take it, man.
Well, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'll be honest with you, that's probably what Nico is pissed off about.
Game and a half.
He's probably saying to himself, like, "Are you guys going to win some games here? Like, can you please?" Because no one's going to feel bad. Nico has built in at least enough of a pushback because so many people have gotten hurt now. To where you can say, well, look, I mean, I get it. We traded away Luka, but man, I mean, would it have mattered even if we had Luka right now?
Yeah.
And you could, and that would be an easy enough argument, right? Whereas if you, let's say you didn't get rid of Luka, then you could also argue too, would Kyrie have blown out his ACL if he was playing too much? Who knows?